All right, we're gonna do a viewer build. We've done plenty of these, but this one's actually really special. We got some big news at the end of this video, but in the meantime, we've got Ian here. Ian, you've got your Land Rover here, and I am super stoked to get this on the channel. You might remember Ian. We met Ian 3-4 years ago when you wrapped the Audi, and then you've wrapped other projects, and I didn't even know you were a gearhead, but you built this thing.
I did. But yeah, no, it's been in the family, so I figured I'd get back on the road.
Awesome, here we go. All right, so what exactly is it?
So it's a 1971 Land Rover Series IIA. This was owned by my dad. He bought it in 1973, drove it for a couple of years until 1978, and then parked it out in a garage in Winnipeg, and then he towed it back to Toronto. It's just been sitting at home ever since.
Your dad was smart, and when he did park it, he filled everything up with fluid?
Yes, so when he parked it, took all the spark plugs out, filled all of the cylinders with oil, filled the entire bottom end with oil, the head with oil, all the differentials full of oil. So when I got to it 40 years later, it was in immaculate shape. Like there was nothing seized up on the engine. It was
immaculate, but then I've seen pictures of you rebuilding the entire engine,
yes,
like going over everything. So take us through that.
I wanted to make sure that it actually ran properly, even though it only has 53,000 miles on it. I wanted to make sure that it would actually run properly. So I tore the engine out, sent it off to get it acid bathed, new piston rings, new bearings. It's the original pistons themselves, connecting rod, crank, everything. It's just the wearable stuff that I want to replace.
Okay,
right
on.
So it wasn't gonna be belching out smoke out the back.
yeah, right on, because it's in very good shape. Like we got a little bit of filler on the top here, but it's all steel underneath.
Yeah,
and
aluminum.
Yeah, that's right, right. And then underneath looks really clean too.
Yeah, so like I said, because it was sitting for so long, like it hasn't had the years of rust building up on it. Also, one thing that my dad told me is in Winnipeg, they don't use salt on the roads, they use sand, right? So it didn't have that initial bit when it was driving. The frame is solid, there's no rust through, there's just surface rust on it. And then, on like the bulkhead, there's like little bits where a little bit of surface rust is coming through. Okay. And then, yeah, just like, a little bit of patina. And I feel like that's what a lot of people actually like about these things. It's like, because when you have them perfect, they look like toys. But when they're beat up, you're like, yeah, it's like a working Land Rover.
Yeah, it's supposed to be doing stuff. So you rebuilt the engine, but then have you touched anything on the transmission axles?
Nope, didn't do anything with the transmission or the axles. Should probably redo the grease on the back because it's the original grease. But yeah, again, when my dad parked it, he filled up the transmission. So when I popped there's a little plate on the top. When I popped it, perfectly clear.
Nice.
So I really lucked out with that.
Nice. So how many kilometers on it so far?
Probably about 500 miles.
Yeah, nice.
At this point.
Nice.
So actually getting it, and most of that was driving out here.
So this thing has never been on the road in Ontario?
No.
Until you got it?
Yeah, about a month ago.
Okay.
It's only been on the road for about a month. So nice. We'll see if my rebuild was done properly. I'll know when it explodes or not. So
nice.
Do you want to sit inside?
Yeah. So this what the this is almost as bad as the MGs.
Oh, yeah.
There's no room. That's as far back as the seat goes.
Oh, this seat's not adjustable. I don't think. It's as far back as I can do it. Because we're both pretty tall. Like this is, you're driving with 90-degree knees on this.
Yeah, more. Have you done anything to the inside?
Honestly, just cleaned it up a little bit. There was one thing I did have to switch out. The hazard switch broke. And I couldn't find a replacement, so I'm using a high beam, low beam switch that I jerry-rigged to work. Nice. So that works, but in order to kill the turn signal so it doesn't impede with that, I had to just put in this janky kill switch here. So
okay. So you're looking to rewire it though. This was safety stuff just so you could get it on the road before the end of the season. Yeah. And then that's awesome. Yeah. I bet it's loud.
It gets pretty loud.
Like no carpet, everything's just tinny and a lot of bolts missing.
A lot of bolts, a lot of rattles. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Have you tried four-wheel drive yet?
I haven't tried four-wheel drive yet,
Well, we better
so
do that.
I think we're gonna have to do that. The high-low range, that does work, but you know, we'll see.
Look at that.
Surprised it fired up on the first time. You're the first other person to drive it.
Has your dad driven it yet?
Nope.
Really?
Nope. we went out for a drive, but he was like, "Oh no, you gotta."
Really?
You gotta. If you flip the throttle, it will cut out.
Okay.
So it's like just kind of gently, yeah.
Right, right.
And I don't know why it does it, but it's like such a goofy vehicle.
I know.
I use the holy shit handles
Yeah.
to hold on to.
I don't know what was over that hill, but
Remember to pump the brakes. This middle hill is so much fun.
this is fantastic. Good job, man. I love it. Yeah.
I mean, I've never driven like a four-wheel drive vehicle before. It's always been like front-wheel drive, right? Or
Right,
rear-wheel
right.
drive. And driving something like this, it feels so different than what I'm used to. So I'm just like going through this and just like beaming the entire time.
Yeah. That's fantastic, man.
Yeah.
I go in it with like zero expectations too. Like I know that they're
Do you want to go that way? Oh, okay.
I know that they're just tractors that can go highway speeds.
Yeah.
They're loud. They're uncomfortable. They're this, like the seat is just too far forward.
Yeah.
All that fun stuff, right? But I just that's why you buy it.
Yeah.
It's funny when you're like a Land Rover is kind of like a Jeep here. Like when you drive it, you think it's the most awesome thing in the world, but you're in that little club, right?
Yeah.
But when you don't realize that everybody else is like it's uncomfortable, it's loud, it's annoying. What?
And you're like, but you're just being, you're just like, oh, I'm having a great time.
Yeah, I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's the part of it, right?
Yep.
So,
That's a little bit of standing water. Let's avoid doing that. It's also funny because like when I'm driving around, other people in Jeeps will look at it and be like, "Oh, is that like an old Jeep?" You're like, "Nope, it's a Land Rover." But like, you know, I give like a thumbs up to any Jeep that I see on the road because I'm like, you know, we're both four-wheel drive vehicles, and most of the time they're like, ah. And so it's like it's beautiful in these sorts of places, and it's just fun.
who's added to the patina? Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, it's all good. I know this paint job I don't mind too much. Just happy the four-wheel drive works.
Yeah.
I was a little bit concerned that maybe it hadn't been like because it hadn't been engaged, it might have seized up. But I think just because my dad put all the oil into it.
But he saved you thousands of dollars.
Oh yeah. It was like $10,000 US for a full rebuilt engine.
Yeah.
And I was thinking at the time, I was like, oh, you know, maybe I'll just replace the engine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, what's the fun in that? If I'm going to rebuild it, why don't I rebuild it from the bottom up?
Yeah. You did this. We're moving because of you.
And that's probably the thing I like the most about it. Because when I'm driving, I'm like, it's moving because I did it.
Yeah. So you aren't really a gearhead, right?
No, I do like cars. I have worked on, I work on all my own cars, but this is the first full engine teardown I've ever done. I've done engine swaps, but you know, that's usually plug and play, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So
So engine swaps, engines, by meaning like your Honda Civic engine blows up, you pull out a Honda,
exactly.
another one.
Same one.
You're not changing, you're putting a diesel in gas or whatever, okay.
I don't know, maybe I'll put a Honda engine in this. We'll see.
No, don't. So let's take a look under the hood. So yeah, the Land Rovers are so nice and simple, right? They were built for a military vehicle, right? They were supposed to have cheap interchangeable parts that are all kind of universal. That's why the bodies never changed for so long, right? Mm-hmm. But I see new carburetor, new brakes, the wiring leaves a little bit to be desired. But...
Yeah, a little bit. So I actually technically started doing this project when I was about 17 years old.
Okay, well, how long ago was that?
How long now? 32?
Oh,
It's when I say I started like tearing it apart. Just a note for anybody on there: when you're like 17 years old, there's some decisions you think might be good at the time and are not. Like painting all of your little like bits copper colored. So I regret doing that. They look terrible.
But I am even more happy that you saw it through. 32, 17, that was half your life ago.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
It's sat with the engine out for probably 8-9 years.
Okay.
Right, and then actually just a little bit before COVID, I was just like, time to get this thing back on the road. But yeah, so I replaced the radiator, carburetor, brake boost, fuel pump, distributor, oil filter, battery, new hoses for the coolant, and it's a new exhaust manifold too.
Okay.
So there are a few new parts on it.
Okay, so we're in Ontario, Canada, and these are few and far between. So you can still get parts for these?
Honestly, surprisingly easy to get parts for these things.
Really?
Yeah, because so between, I believe it's like the 58 into the late 70s, like half the stuff is the same parts. And I lucked out. I found a company in Paris, Ontario, Three Brothers Classic Rover, and you can basically build a Land Rover from their site.
Wow.
So like all the parts are there. They're interchangeable between different years. So. Yeah. And they're cheap. Like I was surprised when I first started. I was like, I'm gonna be spending so much money on this.
Yeah. So how much is carb?
Carb was like $135. Distributor was, I think, I want to say just over $100.
Okay.
Fuel pump was like 60 or 70.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty cheap for.
It's not brake booster.
Brake booster. To be honest, I can't even remember.
No, because you're talking Chevy 350 parts, like price wise. Like starter is like $80, or like it used to be $30, but now they're up to like $60, $80. Carbs $100, distributors $100. Like that's really reasonable. I hate parts hunting. I just want to build. I don't want to source parts. So that's always I just don't. I'm like I'm behind the computer, and I'd much rather be wrenching.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of the projects you work on, like you might be able to use other parts from different types of vehicles, right? I haven't got into that sort of stuff yet, but you know, being able to find the right parts it's
It's meant to be serviced, so you can take the whole top off, put it reasonably right, windshield flips forward, doors pop right off, like all things like that. You basically take the whole thing apart and
so I haven't driven it yet without like the top on. The windshield folds down as well. So you take the doors off, the top off, windshield folds down. It feels like you're driving like a dune buggy.
Yeah.
And like the looks you get, I feel like most people see it and they're like, that shouldn't be on the road. Like that doesn't look safe. I'm like, it's not, but it's fun.
But why didn't you get a Land Cruiser?
Why? Yeah, exactly. That's the follow-up question. Why didn't you get a Land Cruiser? Yeah. And my dad even told me, he's like, back in the 70s, he's like, I was looking for a Land Cruiser. I was like, if you bought one, you could have retired already. Just on the cost of these things now.
Yeah. No, but these are cheap, fun little toys. They're not the most enjoyable to drive. They're kind of like a tractor that goes fast. It's loud. It's like wind noise. It's like gaps everywhere. Like I can see light through rivet holes, and but like, that's what makes a Land Rover, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's part of the fun about it. Like every trip is an adventure.
Yeah.
Even if you're on perfectly smooth roads, you're going to the gas station gas station do that all the time with this thing. But yeah, no, it's a lot of fun to drive. You got beautiful colors, you got first time off-roading.
Yeah, alright, real hard.
Don't put her in the pod.
Should probably grab a gear, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
I love it. The shot that you're having is just me sliding backwards out of the way.
So how are the brakes?
They're okay. As we're aiming towards a pond.
That's awesome.
Oh yes.
Oh,
So much fun! We're doing that again! I'm gonna break this thing.
get enough of the fuck.
Yeah. End up in the fucking lake.
You got it. Slow and steady, just putter up the hill.
Where's the fun in that? Oh my god. This is too much. Like, I can never move to the countries. I will literally do this all day.
Yeah, that's terrible, terrible life.
Yeah, better not move the country.
What an ugly background. Okay, so how was your first time off-roading?
I mean, that was awesome. Like, so that was the first time also putting in four-wheel drive,
Yeah.
and it worked, so I'm happy, but that was awesome. It was
Okay.
so much fun.
Awesome. All right, so this is a special episode because it's not in
It's not in gear.
gear. And we push it into the pond. When I met Ian, it was mainly through Aaron. We redid the wrap on the Audi, and you designed the Audi and you wrapped the Audi. I remember you, long hair, ponytail, putting your hair in a ponytail every like 10 minutes it
Yep.
seemed. And you said that you would show up at like 8 in the morning and you showed up at like 10 at night, which
Thereabouts,
is
yeah.
essentially like 14 hours late.
It's just the full day. Yeah,
It's the full day.
gone.
And it's like, I don't know what to make of this guy, but I've come to know you throughout the years. I've watched you grow up actually. And it's been really, really cool. And in the meantime, we've actually became friends, which is really cool too. So Ian's done the Audi. After the Audi was the Mustang racing stripes and the graphics on the bottom. And then after that was the Kenworth, the Bronco, and now he's doing the boat. So I'm happy to call you my friend.
Yeah,
So
thank you so much.
Yeah,
It means
yeah.
a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, so, and on that note, we thought that we'd bring the Land Rover out because of our next road trip as well. So if you haven't followed the 55 series, we flew out to California and basically built the truck with a few of us in California, in Buddy's driveways, and then road tripped it home. And we thought, you know what, that trip went so well, let's do it again. This time in South Africa though. So we bought a 99 TDI Defender, which is the newer model of this, but essentially same thing, a rough driving allowed vehicle.
Yep.
And we're gonna go through Namibia, Botswana, see a bunch of people. We've got some relatives there, we've got some friends there, so we already bought it. A friend of Aaron's is already driving the Land Rover, and you're looking at maybe you want to come along too?
You extended the invite to me, and I was honored and also so excited when you offered that. So
Yeah.
I would love to.
Yeah, so
I would
Ian
love
saved up some money. He's got the Land Rover itch. He's got the all-wheel drive off-roading itch. So Facebook Marketplace has now been changed to Cape Town.
Yep.
Definitely, guys, stay tuned for that. That's not happening till next summer, but that's what goes into a project like this. All the planning and what we're gonna do, passports, paperwork, all that fun stuff. We're looking to buy another one. So we'll probably be with 2 or 3 of us vehicles, and probably 4 or 5 or 6 of us that are actually going on the trip. And basically, we're not going to build the trucks out there because TIA, which is this is Africa.
Yep.
We'll get you your part, but it might be this afternoon. It might be 3 weeks from now. So-
Perfect for me. And my timing schedules.
Yeah, we're gonna buy functioning Land Rovers. I'm sure they'll break while we're there. We're gonna go wrenching, basically sleep out in the middle of nowhere. We've got rooftop tents. We've got a little bit of overlanding in our midst. So I see the smile on your face.
Oh,
You're already.
Dude, I'm beaming. I'm so excited.
Facebook Marketplace as soon as you're home.
Yep.
So Andy, Brad might come along, and then a few others while we're, I don't know, who knows. But anyway, stay tuned for that. We're super excited. So Ian, thank you very much
Thank
for
you so
showing me
much.
that. Thanks for letting me drive.
Absolutely.
And yeah, Good luck on the way back to Toronto.
We'll see if I make it.
I'm sure you will, but if not, just give me a call. If you guys have rides that you're proud of, that you've worked on, submit them to our website, thebossgarage.com. You can upload pictures, and upload pictures even as you're building it. Give us a call when it's running and moving, because we want to showcase it. We want to motivate all the other people watching to see these projects come to life, all the work and effort that you guys put into it, and all the feelings that they give you after they're on the road and driving, plus the memories that you make along the way. Grab some buddies, grab some beers, get these things back on the road again, and make some memories, because if you're not filthy, you're not rich. Here we go.